Who is this irresistible creature who has an insatiable love for the dead?
You know, it's Halloween. I guess everyone's a devil and gets scared.
Stop the prime time, bitch!
Do you want to die, Sydney? Your mother sure didn't.
Cookie, I'm scared.
You fucking should be.
What happened? Are you okay?
He's slime.
Don't let her get away, Mother. Don't let her live. I won't, Jesus. I won't.
Something really crazy is happening to me. I keep seeing this face everywhere.
You witnessed a death. Now it's latched onto you.
Stop smiling at me!
Happy Halloween, everyone. I hope you guys had a great Halloween. I sure had a lot of fun talking about movies this time of year. And tonight, for the final video in this Spooktacular, we're talking about Smile 2. Now, I might be in the minority by saying this, but I love the first Smile movie. It's still one of the scariest movies I've ever seen, and it's one of my favorite horror movies to come out in recent years. Despite saying that, I was kind of underwhelmed by Smile 2's trailers. I thought it didn't look scary, and I thought it would be a pretty big step down from the first movie. And I'm happy to report that Smile 2 is much better than I was expecting, but I don't think it's quite as good as the first movie. One thing Smile 2 actually has over the original is its filmmaking. The filmmaking is much more advanced than in the first movie. The lighting, cinematography, landscapes, costume design, and directing are all better in Smile 2. They used their increased budget really well. I think they had like 9 million more added to the budget, and you can tell because Smile 2 feels much more cinematic than the first movie did. The acting is fantastic. Naomi Scott kills it in this movie. Her performance requires a lot out of her, and she definitely pulled it off. The rest of the actors do good as well. This is Naomi Scott's movie, so the rest of the actors don't get a lot to do, but when they're in it, they make it count, and there's a ton of creepy smiles that actors give in this movie that stick with you. And even if you just see it once, you sure do remember their smile. The story of Smile 2 I also think is great. Skye is a very interesting character, and her story is very interesting. She's in a vulnerable and broken state, and as a result, it makes this curse following her more interesting. And she starts to go insane, but you're on her side the whole time because you're seeing what she's seeing. The story also takes many different directions, which keeps the movie always entertaining. This movie runs about 2 hours and 10 minutes, yet I was never bored during it. I was always interested in what was going on. I also loved the opening to this movie. The first Smile had a great and chilling opening, but I do think I actually prefer the second. I wouldn't say it's as scary as the first, but it ties into the first movie very well. There were a lot of different directions that just the opening took that really surprised me and kept me on the edge of my seat. And the title card was awesome and perfectly placed. Unfortunately, though, I'm a bit mixed on this movie's horror elements. I do think the jump scares in here are better than the first. The first had some great jump scares. There was a lot of them, and I felt like almost every scene had a jump scare. Smile 2's jump scares are better placed than the first movies. There were moments where I was plugging my ears because I didn't want to get bombarded with this loud sound. And sometimes a jump scare wouldn't come. I wasn't always right in my predictions. And sometimes I didn't see some of the jump scares coming. There were two that really caught me off guard. Like the first movie, Smile 2 also has some pretty creepy sequences, especially a hallway scene that I thought was amazing tension. I was glued to the screen during that scene. I thought it was really well done. And like the first movie, there's a lot of creepy images that will stick with me. However, I think as a whole, Smile 2 is not as scary as the first movie. The first movie I felt had constant tension. There was not a single moment in the first movie where I let my guard down. Unfortunately, in Smile 2, there were some long stretches where the tension left my body. And I think that's just a fact that Smile 2 is a little too derivative in terms of its scares. They repeat a lot of the scares in the first movie, and while it's still cool to see, they're not as effective as the first time around. I also wasn't a huge fan of this movie's ending. I thought the first movie's ending was terrifying, and 2 didn't have that same impact because they kind of just repeated the first ending in a way. The unfortunate part is that they were setting up some pretty interesting stuff before that with the Smile Curse, but then they just throw it all away for a less effective ending. And it kind of confused me how they're going to do a Smile 3 after the way Smile 2 ends. In the end, Smile 2 is a really good horror sequel and much better than I was expecting. I think it does some things even better than the first movie, but overall, I do prefer the first one. I'm going to give Smile 2 a B. Guys, thanks so much for watching this series. I hope you had just as much fun watching these videos as I did making them, and I hope to do this again next year. Until then, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.